Welcome back to the channel. I got some great videos for you today. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's jump right into it.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
My name is Jane Goodall. My age is 80. My job is giving people hope. If I'm allowed to change a few things, if I just have this magic power, I would like to, without causing any pain or suffering, reduce the number of people on the planet because there's too many of us. It's a planet of finite resources and we're using them up. But what I
Start by getting rid of yourself.
really would love to change is the unsustainable lifestyle of everybody else. We're just greedy.
They hunt us, but they don't eat us. They don't sleep. They don't breathe. They don't go an inch above 8,000 feet. It's not a living creature. That's programming.
By who?
Shot. Thanks.
Let me ask you a last question, Bill. Now you are doing yourself this transition into a new function, and you leave behind a legacy of having transformed the world into I would say, into an information society. Now, if you look forward and at your next career step, career maybe not the right word here, but at your next life phase. What would you like to see as your legacy in 10, 15 years?
Of the new work?
Of the new work,
yeah.
Of your new function.
Well, I set very ambitious goals because I'm quite optimistic. If you look at, say, the 20 diseases that our global health program goes after, I hope that within 15 years, over half of those, we could have had a very dramatic impact. Some of them will prove to be harder than others. For example, AIDS, we will have made an improvement, but not the dramatic improvement probably in that time frame. Malaria, perhaps, and a number of the other ones, we have things in the pipeline. So, huge change in the mortality rates in developing countries, which then has this effect of reducing population growth. That's this big benefit that then makes everything like education and nutrition a lot easier. So I have very high expectations there. And we actually use these dashboards internally at the foundation to make everything be quite numeric. We're trying to be rigorous about that and even share those so that people can see, oh, you fell short of what you had in mind, and then we get to explain if we have any lessons that might be learnable from other foundations. So I think there's some things about how we go about things that I hope those learnings can have an impact. There's the specific work in the different divisions, health, development, and the U.S. education work. That in 15 years, boy, by then we will have spent a lot of money. $3 billion a year, 15 years, that's adds up. And for that, people should have a very high expectation of what we can do.
Thank you, Bill, for having brought to us this evening a very enlightened,
Nobody listens to what he really says. He's talking about depopulation of the planet, and people are clapping.
And we also make the commitment that every year, as we discover and bring to the US or to Europe or to the world new medicines, automatically those new medicines will be inserted into the offer of the portfolio that we will offer into these countries. I think that is really a fulfillment of a dream that we had together with my leadership team when we started in 19. The first week we met in January of 19 in California, and to set up the goals for the next 5 years. And one of them was by 2023, we will reduce the number of people in the world by 50%. I think today, this dream is becoming reality.
You have to be an NPC or a moron to clap for someone claiming they're reducing the population by 50% and succeeding.
So it's really a purpose-driven company. And
so far, globally, you are so far above the population and the consumption levels, which can be supported by this planet, that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope to avoid that. I hope that it can occur in a civil way, and I mean civil in a special way, peaceful. Peace doesn't mean that everybody's happy, but it means that conflict isn't solved through violence, through force, but rather in other ways. And so that's what I hope for.
I hope people rise up and beat the crap out of these elites who think there's too many of us.
That we can, I mean, the planet can support something like 1 billion people.
Where do you get those numbers from? You don't even know the earth is flat with a firmament above your head. So where do you get those numbers? What makes you the expert on how many people the planet can support?
Maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. I mean, we could even have 8 or 9 billion probably if we have a very strong dictatorship, which is smart. That's unfortunately, you never have smart dictatorships. They're always stupid. So, but if you had a
He knows all about stupid people.
smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have it. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence. So we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7. So we have to get back down. I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal, so that people share the experience and you don't have a few rich, trying to force everybody else to deal with it. So those are my hopes. I mean, these are pretty pessimistic hopes, but I mean, that's.
I can kill you.
Malcolm, have a lot on your mind.
The sustainable population of our planet is no more than 500 million.
And we're willing to kill 7 billion.
Well, most of those lives aren't worth living.
Says the man with no friends.
Massive humanity in Africa, India, and China. They live in squalor. They'd be better off dead. The world would be better off without them.
And America will be first.
Yes, well, as our friend Henry Kissinger said, a strong America is the only thing standing in the way of a new world order. We have foreign troops on the ground now, under the UN banner. The country only needs a little chaos.
Oh, maybe some chaos through a false flag alien invasion?
The American people are resilient. What's to come if the citizens rise up?
Yes, well, when parents see their children starving, and families hauled away to FEMA camps for imprisonment or worse, then yes, we expect some resistance at first. But the vanity of nationalism will quickly fade. The people will beg for help.
Now one of those sources has summoned the governor. Alex Jones says he knows how they plan to depopulate.
Alex, you sounded urgent. There's an entire agenda afoot to force the population to undergo different type of medical treatments, namely vaccines.
Anybody still taking vaccines, or any shot for that matter nowadays, should be very careful. These vaccines and shots are altering DNA, changing genes, reprogramming your mind for entertainment purposes only.
We're seeing a medical tyranny being set up, not just in the United States, but worldwide under the UN and the World Health Organization.
Who's behind all this?
The Bilderberg Group. They want a planetary dictatorship so they can carry out their forced depopulation agenda, and they want to do it through the medical system. And that.
Alexa, is there an agenda to depopulate the Earth?
From answerback.com. Agenda 2030 will depopulate most areas of the population, reducing the entire population of the Earth from over 7 billion to less than 3 billion.
I can't emphasize this enough. There are not enough people. And I think one of the biggest risks to civilization is the low growth rate and the rapidly declining growth rate. It is, and yet so many people, including smart people, think that there are too many people in the world and think that the population is growing out of control. It's completely the opposite. Please look at the numbers. If people don't have more children, civilization is going to crumble. Mark my words.
Scientists suggest that we have severely miscounted how many humans are currently on Earth.
That was done on purpose. If they tell you have 8 billion and you have 11 billion, then when 3 billion disappear or get eaten or what have you, then nobody will notice because the numbers will still match up.
I mean, I'm not fucking surprised. They're probably severely miscounting how many humans are coming into the UK as well. Now, it's currently thought that the human population on Earth as of 2025 is around 8.2 billion. But due to the advancements of AI technology and satellite technology, they now believe that we could have miscalculated this by around 3 billion people. Yes, that's right. So they may believe currently, as of 2025, there might possibly be around 11 billion humans on Earth. I mean, if this information turns out to be accurate and correct, God knows what implications it could have for the future.
I could argue in the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations. That's something that most people never talked about. You know, we always used to think shrinking population is a cause for negative growth. But in my conversations with the leadership of these large developed countries that have xenophobic immigration policies, they don't allow anybody to come in, shrinking unemployment, shrinking demographics, these countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology. And if the promise, I didn't say it's going to happen, but if the promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will, we'll be able to elevate the standard of living of countries, the standard of living of individuals, even with shrinking populations. And so the paradigm of negative population growth is going to be changing. And the social problems that one will have in substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations. And so for those countries that have rising populations, the answer will be education. And so
see what he was saying there. In countries that lose population, they'll be replaced with robots and AI. And that's because the ruling elites don't want us here consuming, but they still want slaves. They still want to be waited on hand and foot and have someone or something else do the work.
So rapidly develop, for those countries that do not have a foundation of rule of law or education, they're going to be left. That's where the divide's going to get more and more extreme. And unfortunately,
emissions in half by 2030 and to reach net zero emissions by 2050. The investment we are announcing today will help us to achieve these goals, and it will do so much more. Because think also about the impact on not only the local economy, not only on an investment in the entrepreneurs and innovators from and in the community, think about the impact on something like public health. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population.
Have you ever heard her speak in full sentences and make sense? That's because she said depopulation and she wanted you to hear it.
More of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean.
The year is 2028. The outbreak has been surging for over 2 years now, and the population has dropped 85%.
That's what the elite want.
In September, it should go without saying that the 7th millennium, 7th month, and 7th day can only occur once. It's a singular moment in time. It will never occur again. But first, we must discover whether it even occurs at all. And if it does occur, when does it occur? If the interpretation of the dozens of patterns and prophecies pointing to 2030 for the Messiah's return are being interpreted correctly, then the Day of Trumpets in 2030 must be on the 7th day Sabbath. The 777 is the day, month, and year that can only occur once in all of time and sealed for thousands of years could now perhaps be unsealed. Based on everything we have covered so far in the Messiah 2030 presentations, we know that 2030 is biblical year 6000, the 120th Jubilee, and the start of the 7th millennium. Check.
I hope this guy's right that that's the day the Lord's coming back. But remember, nobody knows the day or hour or time or year or any of that stuff. But the elites believe they know when he's coming back. And that's what all this CERN stuff is and all this manipulation of space and time. Because for one, they're trying to get back into heaven. The devil, Satan, the fallen angels, since they were thrown out. I don't know why you'd want to get back in. You got your butts kicked the first time. Be no different this time. But they're not getting back in, so they're trying. But if they can't get back in, they think they know the day of the Lord coming back, so they're trying to change time because they're afraid of the return of our Lord and Savior.
Watch this cartoon explaining the Project 2025.
I've seen this whole cartoon. We'll play it, but it was obviously made by some left-wing people.
Project plan and tell me that the Don and the Rocket Man are not going by the book.
No, just the most important document in our country's history. You mean the Constitution? Nope. The Declaration of Independence? Yes, again. The Federalist Papers? The Federalist... What? No. Even more important than whatever you just said. Now sit right here and I'll tell you all about me. I'm just a little paper for the ages. A way to set the government straight. A short 887 pages on how to make America great again by forcing through the president's agenda, removing all of those who disagree, replacing with our loyal party members, and reclaim our great country. In some power to the president to authorize the government to legislate morality and wrestle back normality from Marxist ideologies that infiltrate our policies like gender, race, or anything woke. We're gonna abolish the Department of Education, turn the swearing in into a coronation. America's great salvation will arrive with Project 2025. Coronation? You mean like a king? No, it's called the unitary executive theory. Gives the next president unchecked power to do whatever they want. So, a king. Oh, let's not get hung up on semantics. Here's how it's gonna work. Once that we've started the transition, and no one's left to tell us to wait, we'll go through every policy position, get rid of all the language that we hate, like civil rights, diversity, and unions, and pronouns to mention but a few. Defunding any liberal institutions that dare question what we do. I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court... Oh, the Supreme Court. That's a good one. Now, where was I? Abortion will be pretty much illegal, and reproductive rights will be gone. We'll get back to the biblical ideal that a family means a daddy and a mom with kids. Repeal the crazy climate regulations that get in the economy's way, with everyone reporting to the stations on Inauguration Day when we...
What sounded so awful about that? Relationship between a man and a woman, no more pronouns, getting rid of these liberal colleges and institutions. Sound good to me.
Dark predictions for May 2025, part 3. These are just predictions, not facts, guys. Follow to see part 1 and 2. Okay? AI is being used by someone to expose the chemical agenda. This will make sense later, and you'll realize why certain things are happening. This will make sense soon. The public finds out that sugar and carbs are being overly used deliberately to sicken the world. A supply shock crisis begins for the USA and Europe. This is going to cause a major ripple, prices going wild, maybe even protests. Record-breaking social unrest, probably linked to some of these things. I just see it being really, really bad next month. The world awakens to the music prison agenda too, which is great. This is kind of a good thing. Realizing that the top executives and music companies are actually using music to make people go to prison by thinking that certain things are cool, which are not cool at all. They just want you to go here because they own these two systems and they make money.
He's telling you the truth. Most of these record labels, they own the prisons. That's one of the biggest parts of the depopulation agenda is Project You Know What, the false fake alien invasion, which is going to fool 90% of people. When you have holographic technology, holograms of flying saucers and spaceships all over the world, then they mix in a few military real ships that we've made, and they use advanced technology like lasers and whatever else to start blowing things up. Everybody's going to be tricked, fooled, deceived. But remember, there's a firmament above your head. Nobody comes from outer space or what have you. It's all local. It's all an illusion for entertainment purposes only.
Is it a cross? Heck no, it's not a cross. What is that?
It's a hologram.
Like a... Whoa. Let me see it. Dude, it looks like a dude in a suit. It looks like Iron Man.
More holograms.
Oh, look, it's that fake
And
alien
the reason
invasion
that's
we've seen
important is
coming
that
for
the American
years.
people have no idea, really no idea, about the immensity of the threat in space.
That's what they want you to think. Don't forget firmament, and we've never been to space.
Our live is going to freak you out tonight. We're going to do exactly what you're looking at now. Holograms made by a company called New Former. Look at this shit. Yup, they can do anything at all in the night sky and soon to be the daylight sky. Look at this. You got it. That's how they're going to do this shit. Stay on our live tonight.
If you're telling us the truth, everyone, the entire American public, has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated...
Yeah, holographic technology is real. I'm saying this for entertainment purposes only. What do you think all these towers going up everywhere are? All these 5G towers? They have nothing to do with cell phones, or at least very little to do with it. That's how they're supporting their holographic sky and all their technology. It's also how they're making people sick and changing vibrations and all these other things. Keep that in mind. Well, those are the videos I have for you today. These videos are not meant to scare you. It's just to open your eyes. They've been trying to depopulate through many different avenues for a long time. Fluoride in the water, vaccines, especially these new vaccines that get in and actually alter DNA, alter your genes, get into your brain. They have nanotechnology in them that work in conjunction with the towers and your cell phones and all these other things. And one of the biggest ones coming is the false alien invasion. They've been working on that forever. I mean, look at your movies. Look at Area 51. Look at all this fake stuff, and all of a sudden they're in the news. I thought the drones in the beginning of the year were the start of it, and they probably were, but something held them up. So, I don't know. Just stay vigilant. And remember, there's a dome, a firmament above your head, and God is real. And have a relationship with Jesus. So when these things happen, you know where to turn and who to talk to. All right. Well, thank you for watching. And this video is for entertainment purposes only. You have a great day.